first of all, how much of an increase has there been in illegal immigration in the last, since the first of this year? My understanding is that it's up 25%. Is that accurate? Is 25% accurate generally?
Over the prior fiscal year, that is probably right.
And also the corresponding same period of time, are the apprehensions for unaccompanied children up about 100%?
I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know about that number.
Okay. I'm recently at the border in Texas, and some individuals told us that the administration's catch and release program was being expanded. By catch and release, I mean individuals were apprehended, not put into proceedings, but just turned around and released, or sometimes returned across the border. Is that catch and release process being expanded in your opinion? Agents are not being told just to not put individuals in proceedings. They're not being told just to release them.
No, that's not my understanding, and that's not my expectation at all. We have, just this fiscal year, we have sent back either by the Border Patrol or ICE something like 128,000 Mexicans.
But I'm talking about something different. I'm sure individuals have been returned. I'm talking about, and it sounds to me, I'd like to have you confirm it, that if an individual is apprehended, they're put into proceedings, they're not just released.
If an individual is apprehended, if they are not detained, they should be given a notice to appear and put in immigration proceedings. And once they're ordered removed and they're a priority removal, they should be removed.
How many thousands of individuals has the administration released who are criminal immigrants? In other words, every year it's around 28,000. Every year you say it's wrong, we're not going to do it anymore, and we seem to continue that policy. But how many criminal immigrants are being released? Why is it 1,000? Why are we releasing any criminal immigrant back into our neighborhoods?
As you know, a lot of the decisions are made by an immigration judge, which is part of the Department of Justice, and because of the Supreme Court's decision in Zabidas, which after a removal order gives us limited ability to hold people.
Those cases amount to about 2,000 of the 20,000. I'm talking about the other 18,000, which the administration wanted to continue to incarcerate if they could, and they still continue to release thousands of people. As you know, the figures came out a few days ago where over the last several years, hundreds of individuals have committed capital crimes who had been released, who didn't need to be released. So when is the figure going to get down to zero, not 19,000 or whatever it might be?
Well, I'm constrained by the decision of an immigration judge, and I'm constrained by the law. I will tell you that a decreasing percentage of those released are released as the result of the exercise of discretion by an immigration officer. And I'd like to see that continue in that direction. I too would like to see that number continue to go down, and it has gone down significantly in the last 2 years.
In regards to border agents, the problem that you're having with recruitment and with retention, and there was some information about one of the problems with this is that a lot of these border agent applicants couldn't pass the polygraph test. So I'm wondering, are you doing a broad recruitment, or is this a narrow recruitment? What is the problem here in being able to retain the workforce as you state you need and as you're asking for here?
We simply have not been able to hire to the levels that we want to hire to.
49% of all illegals in this country are people that overstay their visa. Because it looks like y'all have left out some of the visa overstay categories. Left out F1 student visas, which is a large category of these overstays. Can we expect a report from your office on the anticipated number of visa overstays that are F1 visa holders?
Yes, we should and we must get there. The reason that the visa overstay court that you have is limited to B1 and B2 visas is because that was the place where we could provide you with reliable information.
Secretary, the 9/11 Commission taught us that to terrorists, travel documents are just as important as weapons. It's the preferred method of entry into the country for terrorists. Come here legally and then just stay, disappear into the mainland. Nevertheless, our government continues to fail at keeping track of who has entered our country and whether they've left or not. And if you are home to an international airport, your state, you essentially live in a border state. As we all know, if someone illegally crosses the southern border, they are unlawfully present in the United States. If someone comes in on a visa and then overstays their visa, they are unlawfully present in the United States. In fact, over 40% of the people that are here illegally and cross the border illegally, they come on a visa and they don't go home. Yet the penalty is very different, even though both people in this situation have the same legal status, unlawfully present. Their status is the same. So why is the penalty different, and why doesn't it make sense for the penalty to be the same, a criminal and not a civil offense? A Ukrainian national most likely lied to get into this country. Authorities say he came to the United States on a 3-month work visa, then got a tourist visa that expired in March 2013. He then enrolled as a freshman at a Harrisburg school just 6 months later. He took on a false identity, a fake name. He lied about his age. He started school as a freshman, a 20-year-old freshman in our schools. His, quote, surrogate parents, Stephanie McClure-Potts and Michael Potts, helped enroll him with fake documents. The criminal complaint said that they also helped him get a Pennsylvania driver's license under the name of Asher Potts in 2014. He's being charged with multiple offenses, including theft, identity theft, tampering with public records, conspiracy, and statutory rape. Now, his surrogate parents say he talked about attacking students at his high school. Nothing could be more chilling than the thought of terrorists enrolling as students. Previously, we've heard of terrorists taking flying lessons, but imagine them sitting next to your kids in algebra class. The fact that this has happened in central Pennsylvania shows how serious this is. Imagine if instead of being a 23-year-old Ukrainian national named Artur Samarin posing with the name of Asher Potts, this man had an Arabic or Hispanic last name. That sure would get everyone's attention, and this is the same thing no matter what his name is. How many more Asher Potts are there? Nationwide, my question is, how many individuals have overstayed their visas, falsified their identities, lied about their age, and are sitting in school classes today?
The visa overstay report that was recently released reveals that with regard to those who entered on B1, B2 visas, year to year, the population of those who overstayed at any one time, that could be a day or a year, is somewhere around 400,000. I don't have the exact number, but it's reflected in the report. I'm going to agree with the spirit of your question. I think that in this current environment and this current threat environment, the potential for fraudulent travel documents is a big concern.
Obviously, you stated in this committee that your position is your goal to get DHS off the GAO high-risk list.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's the same thing. And I suspect your staff has informed you of the Oversight Committee's findings in the hearings that we've had, where literally every single thing we've examined has shown gross mismanagement, whether it's in the human resources, information, HRIT, technology system, the vehicle fleet management, and other areas where we just see millions and hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars wasted. And I'm just wondering, I know you've requested $225 million for St. Elizabeth's. I've been out there. It's going to take a lot of resources without a doubt, but you also manage the second largest civilian fleet in the federal government and cost over $460 million to operate. And I found some unimaginable things occurring there. And I'm just wondering if getting off the high-risk list, GAO's high-risk list, even there's not much asked for in improving your extradition process, which was another point of contention, and only a minuscule fraction is devoted to that. So I'm just wondering, as you weigh everything in try and prioritize with St. Elizabeth, et cetera, the mission that you've got to complete president's visits?
Well,
how does this fit in?
as I indicated in my opening remarks, management reform is my top overall priority. We continue to make good progress with GAO. In fact, GAO has told us that they consider us a model agency for how you get off the high-risk list.
If I may interject, when they told you that, did they tell you that in writing, or because I don't get that sense? No disrespect.
My question is this: you've expressed support of the budget during the time that you've been here, but the budget includes funding for 300 fewer Border Patrol agents than was mandated in the fiscal year 16 budget. And I'm just wondering if indeed, as I believe, you share that same concern about securing our borders, how can you be satisfied with this budget if it includes 300 fewer Border Patrol agents than what was mandated in the fiscal year 16 budget?
Two things. The budget submitted to you reflects hard choices to fit within the legally mandated caps, and the request reflects a considered decision to focus on technology and surveillance equipment at the border. Given the nature of what we're seeing and the changing character of those crossing the border, very often, as I'm sure you know, people, particularly people from Central America, anticipate that they're going to be caught. And so the key is to know where they're crossing through technology, through surveillance equipment, and get our personnel there in place to meet that surge.
And Mr. Secretary, I appreciate that and understand that, but you know, we had the opportunity on this committee to visit the border, and the Border Patrol agents were telling us we need more boots on the ground, and that's what we were hearing from them. Now, granted, you are correct, we do need the technology. I'm not arguing that fact, and it will and has helped us, but again, they're crying out for more boots on the ground. If I could shift gears for just a second. A couple of weeks ago, on March the 2nd, we had the administrator of TSA, Mr. Neffinger, here. And at that time, we talked about the screening partnership program, something that I'm very interested in. I'm from Georgia, of course, and as you're aware, the administrator for Hartsville-Jackson International Airport has expressed concerns about the long waits and long lines, and has actually talked about perhaps utilizing this program. And what I wanted to ask you, Mr. Neffinger had told us that we were getting cost estimates from GAO. When can we expect those cost estimates to be in?
Let me get back to you on that, sir.
I noticed that you, in your budget, you requested over $900 million in air passenger and airline fees.
Yes.
And this is a 43% increase. I mean, this is a significant increase. And you requested to allow TSA to increase the messenger security fee from $1 to $6.60. I mean, that's a big jump. Now, what we're told is that the screening partnership program can potentially save up to 17%. Why are we not pushing this more? I mean, if it's going to save us money, and you're still going to have oversight over it, why aren't we pushing this? And when we push it, why aren't we getting more creative? As I had suggested to Mr. Neffinger, perhaps you offer half of that savings to the airport, and you still are going to realize 8.5% savings in your budget.
Well, first of all, aviation security is not just simply a matter of dollars and cents, as I'm sure you appreciate. First and foremost, it's the protection of the American people. And I want to know that whatever force we are providing to that mission is the best we have. The proposed increase is from $5.60 to $6.60. As I'm sure you're aware, in 2013, Congress increased it from $5 to $5.60. We're asking for another increase. My view is that rather than ask the American taxpayer in general to pay for aviation security, maybe we ought to ask a little more from those who actually use the system.